Knowledge adventure. Have fun. Get smart.
Rocky54167 here, and I hope you all had a great New Year's and welcome to 2024. Can't believe it's been 15 years today on January 4th, 2024 that I uploaded the 3D Body Adventure videos back in 2009. And over the course of that week, I would upload all of the Packard Bell Knowledge Adventure MS-DOS games I had. Kids Zoo, A Baby Animal Adventure, 3D Dinosaur Adventure, Space Adventure, IMAX's Speed, and my favorite, Undersea Adventure. It's even weirder to me that it has been 26 years since I first played these games, and that was something that hit me over Christmas this year, which was one of the main reasons why I've come back, is because, you know, for me, nostalgia time is really high around the holiday season when you have those good memories that come back. So let's go back to 15 years ago. I had always wanted to upload stuff on YouTube, never really knew what that was going to be, and me and a few friends did have a few YouTube channels, and I'm sure a few of you will remember at one point I did post a taste of what one of our channels was going to be. It was a little bit of an introduction, and I do remember, I think that was the only time I've ever revealed what I even look like on here. I like keeping it anonymous here, because I don't know if anyone really remembers that, but back when YouTube first started, it was all nicknames, and I am one of the few that still keeps my nickname, and I'm proud of that. 2009, though, I was trying to figure out what to do with YouTube. I wanted to do something on there, and there was a few projects that I had had, and I was just looking for something to post. I guess you could say it all started in 2007. It was January, it was midterms week at school, and I didn't have midterms till the very end of the week. And I remember we found my old computer games, which I was completely shocked that I found them. And immediately nostalgia hit me, and I went and I installed the Windows 9X games I had. Jumpstart Reading for First Graders, which was my favorite Jumpstart game. Jumpstart First Grade. I was getting these games up and running for my younger sister. There was a 13-year difference, but I also played them too because of nostalgia. And at that point, I actually had a Windows Millennium compact computer. I remember coming across these, and I had remembered at that point, the last time I had played these games was probably late 2003, maybe early 2004, when I still had my Packard Bell Windows 98 computer. And all these memories and everything kind of hit me, and I was like, I would love to figure out how to play these. I know I said Windows Millennium was DOS based. I never got them to work on there. And I remember finding out about Windows emulation, and that is when it hit me. I should try and emulate an old version of Windows I had. And throughout the course of 2007, I unsuccessfully tried figuring out the emulation process in Virtual PC with Windows 98, Windows 95, DOS, you name it. I remember trying these Packard Bell discs. But something I'm sure a few of you may remember is some of these DOS games actually worked natively on Windows XP. You just didn't get the classic Sound Blaster soundtrack. I remember about 2 years prior, the computer guy we used to get work done actually said, hey, I found out these work, it's just the Sound Blaster card isn't emulated. Which to me, one of the big things about these games was the soundtrack. So, I know I've spoken about it a few times, but all throughout 2007 I had tried various different times, and for some reason I was not understanding how DOSBox worked. And in November of 2009, No, we were actually in 2008, my bad. This was all 2008, not 2007. This is all my sophomore year of high school. 2008. So we then get into that story about me, before I get further, that story about me finding the games was January of 2008, not 2007. Then, in November of 2008, I had a dream about getting the games to work while watching The Land Before Time 3. I don't remember why that was my dream, but I remember tossing my copy of a network aired version of The Land Before Time 3. And I remember that day, I was like, you know what, this is the last time I'm going to try and get these games to work. There's something I'm missing, the DOSBox commands, something I am missing so stupidly, and when I finally get this to work, it's going to be like, oh my god, how did I not notice this earlier? And at 4 o'clock that day, I got them to work. I remember I waited all week patiently through school to get home, and that Friday night, I literally spent, from the time I got home from school till about probably 1, 2 o'clock in the morning playing them. This was in November. And I remember after that, all I did was every chance I got, I played these games, and soon I had rediscovered everything that made the games nostalgic to me, discovered new things about the game. Like example, I don't remember the parrotfish music when I was a kid. It wasn't until my second chance of playing around the Undersea Adventure that I discovered that wonderful piece of music by Hamilton Malmsteen. So for about 2 months, I played the games, and then I got thinking, what if I uploaded the games like Surfer BRG did, but I used a DOSBox recorder and used the video editing software I had at the time, which was Sony Vegas, I forget what. What if I did that? So I kept toying with that idea, and I kept toying with, man, it would be great if I would upload these videos on YouTube. That Christmas break was an interesting one. I got 2 weeks off for Christmas thanks to winter weather. On the 2 days of school I was supposed to be there, and I think I was off from like the Friday prior all the way to January 5th. To me, I was really excited to have that 2 weeks off, and then the plan started finalizing because I finally figured out what I wanted to do on YouTube, because YouTube in those days, if you remember, it was just so interesting to see what it really was and how it literally went away from that and went to all original content to coming back to, I would say in a way YouTube in some ways has come back to where you could literally find whole movies on there, except now you pay for them, where back then copyright was a major thing. I remember first I was like, you know what, I'm going to create a video on how to install a game on DOSBox, because there's got to be other people like myself who weren't getting a few things on there, and had it not been for a video I had found on how to install something via CD-ROM, I would have never have gotten this far. So I've made 2 videos of that, by the way, and I'm actually showing the first one I made, and I uploaded this January 3rd, 2009. And then the next day, I didn't go to church that day. And I remember recording all of 3D Body Adventure. I remember going one shot. And back then, one of the things that was frustrating about DOSBox, and it was something that took me years to really fully figure out, was the CPU was set so low. Whereas now, I just max out the CPU. Because the games go as fast as what they possibly can. And that's the speed of the games I remember when I was a kid. That's why watching some of these 2009 videos, as nostalgic as they are, the speeds in some of these videos, in my opinion, aren't correct. Like, I remember how fast some of these movies in that went and how long they went back when I had a Packard Bell. But I remember recording the game, getting the CPU speed to which I thought was a max game, and I wanted to give a preview without actually giving away the game. And I remember, of course, accidentally just recording the entire Body Recall game in 3D Body Adventure, going, whoops. And I remember how long it took me to edit all 3 videos and then upload them to YouTube. And if I remember correctly, I think I uploaded them all simultaneously to YouTube. And I was hoping they would become a hit. And I went to school the next day. And when I came home, I was going to record Kid Zoo, which I only had 2 parts. And I remember recording and editing the videos, and then going to my YouTube channel and finding out I had a comment from my very first YouTube subscriber who had remembered the games and was like, hey, are you going to take requests for these? And I was like, yes, but this week is preview week. That is what I had called it. So I remember editing and uploading Kid Zoo that day. January 5th, and then the next day I went and I recorded 3D Dinosaur Adventure, which that took up the most time. That took up the most parts. Because 3D Dinosaur Adventure was the biggest game of all the games in that series. And that it took me to upload from Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Something I don't really quite talk about is that had it not been for a snow day that week on Thursday, I would not have recorded Speed, Space, uploaded them on Thursday and Friday, and then gotten Undersea Adventure, which took me the rest of the day to upload. That started off 2009. 2009 was one of my favorite years of my existence. It was my last full year of high school because I was a graduate of the class of 2010, 32 years old. I know us 90s kids keep getting older. These also were 80s kids. I would say mid to 80s to late 90s kids, computer games. And one of the things that I've always loved reading, and I still love reading even when I am on hiatus, is I still log on, I still use this channel to watch stuff, is I love the fact of all the people that have come around with the memories, and I love the people who even discover these videos for the first time even though they've been up for 15 years. Looking back on the games though, in hindsight, one thing I will say as I've gotten older, the games have definitely aged. When I did my reviews, I reviewed them with nostalgia glasses. No, I am not going to review the games again like I did in 2012, but looking at the games now, as much as I love them, I will say, age-wise, obviously a lot of the data in these games is outdated, and it's funny to watch. Some of it is still accurate, probably. I haven't really researched that much into it. But when you really look back at these games, like the graphics, unless it was the videos at the time, these games definitely did age. But I think that's one of the things that make them classic, like the original Nintendo games, the original Super Nintendo games. Even N64 and PlayStation games look dated, and I remember when those were the thing. And I'm not exactly sure how to describe it, but there's just a vibe to them that it... Like, there's a nostalgic vibe. You go back to when life was simple and how much fun you used to have on them. But there's just such a vibe to them. An early 90s vibe. Even more of a mid-90s vibe. And I just love it. The soundtrack screams it. The games themselves scream it. I think that's one of the main reasons why these games still are cool, in my personal opinion. As much as I love these games and I talk about them, they're dated. But the one thing that holds true to me, and the one thing I've never stopped since 2009, is the music from these games. This MIDI music is genuinely a vibe. These games genuinely have a vibe, and they have that early 90s computer aesthetic. And knowing now that Knowledge Adventure is completely defunct, that the Jumpstart games are no more, that was one of the main reasons I was like, even though I know there are other people who have posted these games and posted stuff and have completed what I haven't done, these games really are like a legacy of like us 90s kids. The main reason I wanted to come back. That and the fact that I'm currently on another dose of 90s nostalgia, which it's awesome to watch that stuff. This music is just a vibe for like that time of computer games, and Hamilton Allstott really did a fantastic job, and I think this music is something that will live with us 90s kids. And something else to note is there was a SpongeBob game that used the skeleton flyby theme from 3D Body Adventure. And that's actually a game I want to play just to hear that, just for the, oh my god, I can't believe that. Even though it is 20 years ago, a SpongeBob game, which was composed by Hamilton Allstott, used the skeleton flyby theme from 3D Body Adventure. And after I uploaded that Undersea Adventure video, I then started getting requests. I got, hey, can you upload this from the games, can you upload this? And I started uploading each part. One of the things that always did interest me was hearing how there was multiple different versions of these games. I've learned since then there's a floppy disk version, there's the OEM version, which I was told there is some musical differences in 3D Dinosaur Adventure, if I remember correctly. For the first year of my channel, I really did requests while every once in a while I did my own thing. That being said, I'm hoping this weekend to sit down and record Space Adventure. I want to record the movies, the games, go through all that, get a few reference pages. I'm hoping to upload that within the next few weeks, and then I want to sit down and finally upload Undersea Adventure. Undersea Adventure was my favorite of all these. I remember that was the first computer game I ever played, the music in that and everything. The music in that, 3D Dinosaur Adventure, and 3D Body Adventure were the three best soundtracks. Not saying the other games didn't have some cool things. I definitely want to record all those, and yeah. I'm going to do the Knowledge Adventure demo, and currently I'm looking at some Windows 9X emulation programs, because the next thing I am going to do, and the next project I would like to do after the DOS games are done, I'm definitely going to do Dinosaur Adventure. I'm going to find my copy of Bug Adventure and Science Adventure 2, and I'm going to record those. And then I am going to start moving into the Jumpstart games I played as a kid. And I am also going to start looking into getting other MS-DOS Knowledge Adventure games I don't have, like America Adventure, Aviation Adventure, so I can keep my original promise from 2010. And you're going to see some other computer games I grew up with as a kid. And hopefully I'm even going to complete my Jumpstart collection and get a few games that I never actually played as a kid. That being said, I want to thank you all for the past 15 years. I'm hoping we can make 2024 a great year on this channel. And while I do foresee myself going in and out of hiatuses, I'm hoping to upload at my leisure and never take a 5-year break again. Anyhow, this is Rocky54167.